You know what, I'm sure all this stuff. So it's about giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Shai, the balance sports of GMS and honors to you brothers that are doing the work in truth, what sincerity. Just want to do a real quick one. It says Acts 2 and 4. It says, and they were all filled with the Holy Ghost and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. So it's first part of some spiritual power that the apostles were given to be able to speak in these different tongues. And this was on my mind because of something that happened at camp way back when. You had a guy. He wasn't really listening, this, that, and the other. But as soon as brother started speaking to him in his own tongue, that guy literally marveled, as it goes on to say in the 7th verse, right? The guy marveled and he's like, damn, oh shit, oh, okay, cool. And then, he starts engaging more, starts listening more, right? So it says, let me carry on. It says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem devout men out of every nation under heaven, right? And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven, right? So you had Israelites scattered from, all over in Jerusalem. Right, it says, now when this noise was voiced abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galilæans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? Parthians and Medes, and Elamites, and the dwellers in Mesopotamia, and in Judea and Cappadocia, in Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, in Egypt, and in the parts of Libya about Cyrene, and the strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes. Right, and it carries on further still says Crete and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of the Most High. And they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, what meaneth this? Others mocking said, these men are full of new wine. Right, just showing you the balance, right? But I wanted to bring this up because, like I said, of that event. And also, this thing of ours is coming to a head, man. And you got brothers that have woken up, who can speak these other languages. Lord bless them with that, and they got to use that talent, because as this is saying here, the young people, they're like, God damn, how do they speak our language? That's weird, bro. That's, and then, they're like, all right, cool, let me see what they got to say now, right? Because especially, language is a barrier, man. Which is why in Genesis 11, the Lord struck the languages, man. May confounded the languages, rather, so that people couldn't, communicate one to another, right? But until the Lord gives us the spiritual power to be able to just, speak these people in their languages, you brothers that have that gift, because you got to understand, especially if you're an Israelite foreigner, man, the Lord made you come from that nation for a reason. Right? The Lord made you learn English so that you can learn from the apostles, whilst having your original tongue so that you can teach these other men in these other languages. Right? Your brothers can speak English, and let's be honest, most of the world can speak English. However, there are some who don't. Right? So let's say you got brothers who can speak Spanish. They can cover, say, Latin America. They might be able to do a bit of the Italian languages and a bit of the Portuguese languages. Right? But then you got brothers who are from more obscure parts of the world, right? Hey man, the Lord, if that's your lot, you're supposed to be doing them videos, man, so that the people in your homeland can get it, man. Right, so this is Matthew. In fact, let me get this first. This is Isaiah 11:11. This is, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. In fact, do I want from verse 10? No, I don't. What was it? Right, yeah. It says, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Basically saying that, pursuant to the curse of Deuteronomy 28:64, that Israel was scattered all over the world, right? and you know, the Lord's gonna gather those people. So you got brothers that are all over the world, and you brothers that can speak English and can speak that languages where you're from. Hey, you got to use those talents, man. This is Matthew 25:15. It says, and unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged it in the earth, and hid his Lord's money. Right? And after a long time, of the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them, and so he hath received 5 talents came, and so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside thee 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Right, so basically that man has given was given many talents, and he flipped that money, man, spiritually. Right, I'll make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I'll make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast it is thine. His Lord said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gathered where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchanges, and then on my covenant I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore thou the talent, and give it to him which hath 10 talents. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he that shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away that even which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Right, so basically, if you get given these talents, man, you're supposed to flip that money, man. You're supposed to flip that money spiritually, do these videos, edify the church, right? Like I said, Lord made it such that you came from a certain landmass, and can now speak English and learn from the apostle, know this truth, and can speak those languages. Right, it had it such where, where I come from, the language they speak is Shona, but the Lord had it where when I came to England, man, I don't remember that shit anymore. So that just wasn't a lot for me to know that language, right? But hey, man, brother, my brother, old brother, spirits jumped on him to start, looking into it so that he can, start doing some vids in that Shona. Spirit jumped on me to start doing them in the Romanian. For what reason, I don't know. That just stuck, right? But yeah, like I said, man, you gotta use the talent that the Lord has given you, man, for the benefit of this truth. And with that, Lord's all you edified. And let's say, Shalom.